here we are again with Storm. Ooh, we won the die roll. How lucky. This hand seems good. We have, like, if we're playing against an Abrupt Decay type card, then we have a backup engine type card. Otherwise, we just have both, which is great. Now, this is always an interesting spot. G-Probe with no blue cantrip. So, unless we're playing against Burn, you just want to fire this off. And we're not. We're playing against some sort of sweet affinity deck.
Oh, that's... I don't know what's happening here. This is interesting.
This is like Planeswalker Affinity. Oh my god. Alright, this is sick, whatever it is. Our opponent's going to go turn 1, Volt Scourge, Memnite, Ornithopter. And
it does seem good.
Alright.
And what did we drew? We drew another ritual.
We drew another ritual, which is good for our Pyromancer Ascension. This is funny. We can just block the Memnite. I think we're going to do that. I don't think Ascension gives us any benefit right now. So let's just block some Memnites. That's what this deck is trying to do all day. Our opponent did not have this in his previous hand.
Yes, he did.
Did he? I thought he only had the Blink.
No, he had the Shimmer.
Okay.
People watching this video can go back and tell us who's right. But it's me.
Alright, fine. We're going to take 2 in the air. A very slow clock, if I do say so. We could take 2 plus 0 in the air.
Oh, he's playing around the block.
Okay, we can still only get 1 counter on the Ascension.
And we can't really do anything with this hand because there's no draw spells, right? So you just play a Steam Vents and play another Goblin Ultramancer?
Rar. Yeah. Well, beat down with Goblin Electromancer is usually like plan D in this deck. We're beating down on turn 3.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Aggro Goblins. Goblin Power Driver.
How can we race the Volt Scourge, though?
No.
It's an uphill battle for sure.
So, he drew a Blink Moth Nexus that turn.
That's fine.
So, what's he got in hand? He's got two
Tezzeret
silly Planeswalkers.
Oh no, he could bolt our guy. Alright, so we're taking 2 in the air, he's going up to 18.
So we really need a card draw spell, don't we? Thought Scour.
Or a Thought Cast. He's already played land this turn, so we can't expect much more out of our opponent. Well now.
I think our hand's pretty bad.
It certainly didn't develop in the way I was hoping. We drew lands and rituals, and another engine card. Like, all of those we already had. Alright. Get in there, Electromancer.
Oh, but now Ralzar's gonna come down, bolt the other one, and you're gonna take an extra 1 off Memnite, bro. You idiot.
If he uses his Ralzaric to bolt one of our 2 Electromancers, I'm fine with that.
Keep back bolts.
He could have bolted us with Ralzaric. It's a very similar result.
What a strange deck.
We're about to lose to it.
Yeah. I told you that was gonna happen. Did I not tell you that was gonna happen? That Memnite is laughing at you right now. Or he's not.
Oh, he's gonna protect the Ralzaric? What has happened?
Oh, yeah.
You got half the equation correct. More lands.
More land.
Alright, well, I guess we can threaten a Planeswalker. Just playing bears. We're playing Goblin Bears. Yep, eat it, Memnite.
Why don't you just block with the Ornithopter?
Ornithopter's a better creature, really. Our opponent's gonna play Tezzeret the Seeker. Oh my god.
What does Tezzeret the Seeker even do? I play against him in a Highlander.
Exactly. He minuses 2 to find Time Vault. That's what he does.
Unlikely. Is there like a equivalent?
He can play it because
He needs an extra land.
no, because he played the Springleaf Drone.
Yeah, he needs an extra land.
I don't think I've ever seen this. No, because he can tap and then untap this button.
Ah, yeah.
So he can Springleaf Drum and then tap full. And I've got no idea what happens next. Untap Springleaf Drum and Ornithopter, maybe? I don't know. He could be going on the ultimate Tezzeret the Seeker plan.
I don't know. What's the ultimate Tezzeret Seeker do?
Makes your artifacts big.
Sure.
He's got to have something scary. Like -2 Fine Cranial Plating is surely a better play.
Well, he's got the time because he can untap his time vault with Ralzarak.
Oh my god, he's got both. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like this is like like.
Oh, he is. He's untapping the Springleaf Drum and the Ornithopter so the Ornithopter can get in there. That's what's happening. I love that our opponent's playing these huge, like, 4 and 5 mana Planeswalkers in Modern, and the extent of it is that we're getting hit by Volt Skirt.
But in an Affinity deck, like this is very like, this is the last deck that wants these cards.
All right.
Pass in Flames. Oh, we can Pass in Flames and give our
Okay.
Probe Flashback?
Correct, but more importantly, we can Pyretic to put a trigger on it, Past in Flames, Pyretic, cast one of the 2 that are in our graveyard, put the second counter on it. So even if we fizzle this turn, we're still drawing more cards because we get to flashback Gitaxian Probe and draw 2 cards.
Oh, double the 4.
So now we get to go off. If it was double Desperate Ritual, we could actually utilize the Spice onto Arcane. But
Oh,
wow. that comes up, like, it's rare that that's useful because if you're in a position when you can splice onto Arcane, you've usually got tons of mana.
Sure.
But it does come up. It's useful to remember.
Well, splicing onto Arcane and Modern is all the rage these days.
Tell me about it. Okay, so now we want to cast our Pyretic Ritual. That's going to give us the second counter we need on our Pyromancer's Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's not waste any of the spells in our graveyard unless we need to. Let's just...
But they're only going to flashback to one turn, so... Oh, right.
Yeah,
no,
but we still have the Past in Flames here.
Yeah.
So rather than burning all these rituals and then finding out we've got nothing to do with it...
You have to get Jackson Pro first.
Now...
Jackson Pro for mana?
Mana or life. Looks like we have lots of blue mana.
How... Oh, we can't lose
get,
next turn, can we? We can go...
We can get bolted, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... No, he can ultimate. So he can activate. Yeah, we have to just go for it. Yeah, he can ultimate Tezzeret.
Sure.
So we need to find some sort of card draw. I'm going to choose the second target to be me. Take that.
Ooh, there you go, that's good.
Yes! Ah! My feelings of this guy have completely turned around.
What is happening over on this side of the table?
Well, these are affinity cards. This is just a sweet card.
We haven't even seen any instants.
The good news is that we paid life, which means we can use lots of these sleight of hands.
Yeah.
So let's...
Sleight of hand first, right?
Or Serum Vision's first to scry.
Right.
So if we find 3 cards we don't want, we can put them all on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we can put some of them on the bottom. We certainly don't need more rituals, but I'll take some card draw. Seeing as we have lots of mana here. Now, Desperate Ravings is quite good because it's card draw for red mana.
Mm.
So we don't need more of these effects, but we could use that. And we know we want the top card, so let's get Gitaxian Probe to conserve blue mana.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Yep. Nice hand you got there, bro. I'm going to get Gitaxian Probe again. I'm going to target me, just so we don't have to look at his hand again. As much as I admire the Icecrown Scepter. Okay, now things get silly. I think we're quite set from here. Alright.
Yeah, so Metamorphose is 1, make 4. Yeah.
Yeah, we're drawing a lot of cards here. I'll try not to kill ourselves with the Gitaxian Probes.
Yeah, please don't.
Alright. Yeah, this is going well. Desperate Ravings are always good. Like I said, you want to find ways of using your red mana. Ooh, we want both of these. You want to find ways of using your red mana in good ways. Usually you just ritual out a bunch and like you're getting choked on blue mana is the problem. Now we don't want to discard this other Desperate Ravings if we can help it. So I'm actually going to put a bunch of these on the stack. And then we can cast this Metamorphose. Yeah,
it's very hard to tell what's going on the screen right now.
This is just an embarrassment of riches is what's happening. Yeah, now...
So slow down so we just resolved a Metamorphose for 1 mana, which netted us which got us 4 mana.
Yeah, we can cast Metamorphose for 1 mana.
And draw 2 cards off it, because we have Pyromancer Ascension, so we get 2 copies.
Basically, we do everything we could want.
Yeah.
But the more important thing is that now we have Grape Shot in our hand, and before these resolve, I'm just casting Metamorphose again.
What's our Storm?
Our Storm is currently 16, so we just need to resolve these spells, or resolve these on the stack. And yep, our Storm is at 16, so there's no reason to mess around. Grape Shot you, and try not to redirect to our opponent's Planeswalkers. So you can see we could have easily kept going off that turn. We've got, I mean, just look at our hand. We've got tons of blue mana. We've got lots of draw spells, and yeah, we grape shot for. No, it doesn't say anymore. No, I don't want to redirect. No, I don't want to redirect. Oh, this is going to be fun. All right, our opponent didn't make us click through every resolution of a grape shot. Do you want to redirect a Tezzeret? Do you want to redirect a Velsac? Like, don't want to do that for any of these. I'd rather just have my opponent dead. So that was cool. Sideboarding against Affinity. I think we have a pretty strong plan. It's called Shadowstorm. This guy. Is there anything else we want?
Bloodburn's not good. Lightning Bolt. I mean, Lightning Bolt maybe.
We didn't see any, like, the only big creature we saw was Master of Ethereum in his hand at the end. Lightning Bolt doesn't kill that guy.
That's true.
So...
It does if you're diluting your deck with, like, Planeswalkers, which is just very strange.
Usually in Affinity it's more of a race, so the Empty the Warrens versus Grape Shot is pretty relevant. You want to still go for the Grape Shot because you don't want to be a turn slower.
Right, okay.
Because they can just, like, you know, the turn you make a zillion goblins, they can untap and then beef up their Blinkmoth Nexus or whatever and attack you for a lot.
Sure.
So we definitely want the Shadowstorms. Let's just take out the Ravings and bring in and Empty the Warrens, maybe. I'm not even sure about that.
I mean, you could bring in Echoing Truth if you're worried about hate cards. Or
Yeah, I
don't
mean-
think Lightning Bolt's the worst.
We could go something like this. So we bring in Shadowstorm and Echoing Truth as Disruption, and then Empty the Warrens instead of a Grape Shot. So basically we're taking out Desperate Ravings and Past in Flames for Shadowstorm and Echoing Truth, and then we're taking out a Grape Shot for an Empty the Warrens.
I thought you said Grape Shot was better.
We still have a Grape Shot in the deck.
Alright, sure.
But, I don't know. Who knows when your opponent has Leyline of Sanctity or whatever. You know, it's nice to have access to both post-sideboard.
Yeah, what do you do against Leyline of Sanctity?
Echoing Truth.
Echoing Truth.
Or Empty the Warrens. Which is why you want to bring those kind of cards in
Sure.
if you're expecting a wide range of what could be.
What do you do if they
there.
have a main board? What if they're playing the mono white prison deck?
I have played that against... Basically, game one went like, alright, yeah, this is a good hand, I'll keep this. Before I even untap, before you draw anything, just Leyline of Sanctity, okay. Scoop. Because you literally can't win with... I mean, you can attack with Goblin Electromancers, but let's be real.
They're playing Ghostly Prisons as well, so that's not good.
No. We have a Shadowstorm, we have Engine, we have Card Draw, we have... Empty the Warrens... Empty the Warrens is better to have in your opening hand than a Grape Shot, because there are times... Yeah, see, now, this is why we wanted the Empty the Warrens.
Now, the one thing about this hand is there's a lot of expensive spells.
That's true, but I feel like Shadowstorm has such high upside. Kills all their Darksteel Citadels and whatnot.
I don't know about that.
And the reason I'm Serum Visioning first is because drawing a random card off the top of our deck is more useful after we've scryed.
Yeah.
So...
You want the land.
I feel like we want both of
potentially
these.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game, thanks to the Relic, is shaping up to be more of a Empty the Warrens type turning. So we can't really build towards a Past in Flames. We need lots of mana and rituals to Empty the Warrens.
Now, the Relic also makes your Ascension, Pyromancer's Ascensions worse, doesn't it?
Much worse. Yes.
I understand.
Um,
No point in taxing probing.
no, not this turn. We might as well get more information out of our opponent's next draw step. Yeah, the funny thing is you'll see, like... Yeah, okay. Go away. Yeah, people will, like... Say you have a Pyromancer's Ascension play, you've got a Serum Visions in the graveyard, and then you... well, I can safely say our opponent drew Memnite this turn.
He could also just be bad, but yes, it does seem that way.
Yeah, if the trigger's already happening on Ascension, it's too late. Doesn't matter if you remove it or not.
Sure.
That's what I was trying to say. So we know we have a Scalding Tarn on the top of our deck. So we can probe into it, but we don't need to.
Just play Electroline, imagine, right?
Yeah, I feel like at this point, we just need lots of rituals. Yeah, if we can go ritual into ritual, then we can go for a big Empty the Warrens. Or even, like, at this point, Ritual Shadowstorm might be good enough. Galvanic Blast, our Electromancer. Temple of Epiphany.
This seems like two very different decks mashed together.
It's like Affinity Control with Mem Knights and Signal Pests.
It's like Affinity, but I can't afford Ravagers and Cranial Planings sound expensive.
No, you can definitely afford Cranial Planings. Yeah, I just feel like if you're playing a more controlling deck, don't play.
So he's got two cards in hand.
Really, what I want to do is Shatterstorm.
So do you Gitaxian Probe and hope to draw a Ritual, or you've already played Lantern? So if you Gitaxian Probe and hit a Ritual, you can just Shatterstorm. Otherwise, you can just like play a sleight of hand and.
Yeah, I feel like this turn is the turn we want to probe. So let's. I mean, can we? Our opponent is letting us exile Skullingtarn. I mean, not that it matters between those two cards. So Island, Mountain, or Steam Vents.
Island.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some pretty raid intensive cards.
I guess you get a Mountain. Like I'm thinking, like if you hit a Ritual, this turn doesn't matter, but you may not hit a Ritual, so you probably get a.
Yeah, I like Mountain. We're not going to want triple blue mana symbols.
Sure.
But let's probe for life. See what our opponent's last two cards are.
Spell Pierce.
So maybe he was thinking about Spell Piercing, because he's got Springleaf Drum and Spell.
Well, that's good to know. We want to play around that with the Shatterstorm.
Yes, true. We really want that one to resolve. Here's a good spot. We can play the Ascension and the Probe, get a counter on our Ascension. Because our opponent would have to exile all cards in response, and then we get rid of the Relic. So I like this spot. We can Ascension. We'll Probe for life. And then hopefully put a counter on our Ascension. He could crack it right now. Like, I can see our opponent thinking, that's fine. That lets us resolve our more powerful spells later.
He spell pierced it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we've got bigger fish to fry over here.
Yep.
It also means on a turn where we go with our Ritual, it's fine.
Yep.
So, sure, if he wants to use Spell Pierce on that, that's fine. Like, having our Ascension get countered, these are very similar. I feel like we want the Manamorphose, maybe?
Yeah. We already have a Gitaxian Probe. So, can Gitaxian...
I feel like Manamorphose has the higher upside. Like, if we get an Electromancer out, then it's much better. Yeah, I don't... It didn't even cross my mind that we should play around Spell Pierce with the Ascension, because...
You shouldn't count.
Yeah, because you've got Relic in play, Ascension's not going to be very threatening. So, now, in a situation, say we have 3 lands, and we want to go for an Empty the Warrens, play the first Ritual, he Spell Pierces that, we're stuck. So... Okay, now he's cracking the Relic. Works for me. Past in Flames is now viable again.
I don't quite understand this guy.
So second Springleaf Drum.
This guy's deck. Fucking... I shouldn't swear. This deck is...
He's going to attack with Signal Pest for 0 damage. Oh, I was hopeful.
Coward.
Shatterstorm.
1 card in hand.
He could have drawn another Spell Pierce.
What did we see in his hand last turn? I can't remember.
Well, we've seen everything.
Okay.
It was a Spell Pierce and the Signal Pest.
I guess you could probe. You can just live on the edge. And...
Well, if we hang on to Probe, it makes our Empty the Warrens better.
Yeah, I think you just Shatterstorm.
A Shattering Storm it will be.
Boo.
Turn 4 Shatterstorm, like, if our opponent was playing a much more aggressive, like, more conventional version of Affinity and had us down to 4 instead of 14, we'd still be in an excellent spot here. So I don't think that factors in very much. Who knows? He could have drawn another Spell Pierce.
Scoop, 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 scoop. Oh no! Spell Pierce!
Alright, so if we draw another free spell or a ritual of some kind, then we have an Empty the Warrens for 8, but that still doesn't necessarily outrace what our opponent's doing with the Signal Pests. But hey, we gotta go for it.
Wait, there's no way to like ritual. You can't like ritual Passive Flames, Shatterstorm. Probably a bit far off that.
All right, let's desperate ritual first. Yeah, you need to get up like without any engines. You need to get up to 6 mana to Past in Flames. Because then you get to 6, you -4, and then the 2 is enough to cast another desperate ritual. But in this case, we'd need to get up to 7 because we'd need to ritual and then have enough for Empty the Warrens.
Right.
So let's cast this Metamorphose.
Just for more red.
Yeah, we've got double islands,
Yep.
so we'll probably just want red. Generally, you want a lot of blue, but in a case where, we don't have a lot of blue spells that we want to cast in our hand. Okay, now we can Serum Visions, go down to 4 total mana, Gitaxian Probe stand 4 total mana, then Empty the Warrens.
Is the life gain? Remember, like we're taking 2 a turn in the air.
Well, we're
So
either
going from 8 to 6 is pretty relevant.
I think, yeah. Well, we're not going to take damage from the Mem Knight anymore, so it would be 2 in the air every turn. But we're either Gitaxian Probe for blue or Serum Visions for blue.
Well,
So
Storm Visions.
yeah,
We've played that this turn, haven't we?
I believe we can check. No, we haven't.
Oh, right.
But we drew Pyromancer's Ascension. I don't think anything here is going to help us.
Um,
We could probe to draw one of these, but neither of them do anything.
we could probe to draw the Thought Scour, and then Thought Scour to draw the land, and then we...
No, because it mills before you draw.
Right.
So let's bottom, because we don't want any of these. Well, are we probing for life? If we probe for life, then we'd go down to 6. We make...
An extra 2 goblins.
Yeah, so our Storm is currently 3. So probe makes it 4 and 5, so we attack, but we're at 6 and we die in 2 turns. Otherwise, we're making
No, we don't.
8 goblins.
3.
I think we have to avoid the probe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that means we're on a 4-turn clock, and we still have 8 goblins.
Yeah.
So you just go for the...
Yep. Not the most impressive, but you do what you got to do. If that Shatterstorm had resolved, then we would have had a lot more resources to play with.
This is fine. I think we assuming he does nothing for us the game, which is obviously what we would like to happen.
We didn't attack with anything. Very interesting. All right.
Does he know he can't block the goblins?
Why?
Because Signal Pest can only block creatures flying.
Can't be blocked except.
I thought it couldn't block as well. All right.
No, it's that good. He can chump his Signal Pests.
Wow. Signal Pest is a boss.
I feel like we just... Ooh, he's taking everything. If he wasn't going to block, then he definitely should have attacked that turn. I guess there's no point in playing the Ascension first. Because
we've got no Serum, we've got no Gitaxian.
yeah, so let's just start with the Thought Scour. The way he's thinking this much makes me think he has another counterspell. Why else would you think about Thought Scour so much?
Mm-hmm.
He could have a Stoic Rebuttal.
Yeah.
Let's find out, shall we? We don't have a Gitaxian Probe in there.
But hang on, if you Gitaxian Probe and for life,
I'm not going to.
oh,
I'm
you
going to
still
do it for blue.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to spend any more life at this point if we don't have to. Let's find out what's going over on opponent's opponent's land, opponent's hand.
Shut up. He must have another counterspell.
It's a Spell Pierce.
So that's good because it means he's got nothing going on, basically.
Yep.
So you just do nothing.
Yeah. Sleight of hand here. So we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe you should have left back 1 goblin to chump.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not used to doing combat maths in this deck. Okay. Alright, well, we were just dead anyway.
That's exactly... God. Should have left back a goblin, man.
Well,
Should've
one
left back a
goblin
goblin.
wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, you would just block the Mem Knight.
I could have blocked the Mem Knight and then be dead next turn anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, you could go off with You have Goblin Electromancer to block next turn. Oh, you can't block flying. But you could have gone off some other way. Leave back a Goblin, bro. Didn't make any difference. Because he's dead in 3 swings anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, combat mats is not what this matchup usually comes down to.
I also feel like combat mats is not in general your strong suit. You don't play decks where creatures attack unless it's an infinite number of something.
Goblins, ideally. 1/1 goblin tokens. So our opponent had Relic, which confirms our suspicions about Graveyard Hate. So how about we take out the Past in Flames, bring in another Empty the Warrens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Echoing Truth's still a big question mark for me. Like, if the sideboard hate he brought in was exclusively Relic, Echoing Truth does very little. And I'd rather want...
Bolts, I think.
Bolts for what? Like Signal
Creatures,
Pest?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Slow them down.
We can try that.
Alright, we gotta win this.
You don't want to lose to this
I
player?
don't lose to this very strange deck.
I think we can keep this on the Shadowstorm alone. I mean, it gets Spell Pierced very easily, but we also have Ascension.
We
and
saw him
Mana
running at
Boost.
least 3 Spell Pierces, so... I mean, I don't know if that affects, but it's worth noting.
I think this hand has enough.
Sure.
I mean, if this resolves, it's very, very powerful. And having either of these on the board, we've got Manamorphose to draw us into more cards. I think this is enough to keep. It's not a great hand, but
No, it's really not.
it has a lot of the pieces necessary. This is a decent turn 1 from our Affinity opponent.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's turn 3 Shadowstorm. I do like that.
So we get Narlands.
Yep.
On double Electromancer.
Yeah, weighing the color choices of the lands that you're getting is interesting in this deck. You want to make sure you have enough to cast as many blue spells as you can while you're going off, because typically against when you're going off, you've got plenty of red mana, because going off includes playing a lot of rituals. Ooh, this is interesting. No attacks. Okay.
So ideally we want like a Gitaxian Probe to see what's up before we fire off the Shadowstorm.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely want to test the waters with an Ascension here.
Well, but then
Because
you
Ascension's-
can't Shadowstorm this turn. But I guess you're in no rush.
If our opponent has a counter spell in his hand, he's going to counter an Ascension, almost certainly.
Sure.
From his point of view, we have Electromancer, we have Ascension. I think the Shadowstorm is the more important spell to resolve, so let's bait with an Ascension.
Oh, good call.
And then we can play tap Demons.
Bait down.
Nah. Second Signal Pest.
So he's only got 1 card in hand.
Do we play around the second Spell Pierce?
Well, no, because he's not going to Spell Pierce Pyromancer Ascension next turn because you have 2. You'd just be able to pay for it.
What I'm saying is, should we just cast the Shadowstorm next turn?
Yes, I think so.
Or do we try and play out a second bait spell with the second Ascension?
No, what I'm saying is that but Pyromancer Ascension is a terrible bait spell because if he tries to Spell Pierce, you would just pay for it.
No, we'll play the Ascension before playing the land.
I mean, I don't know. I think you just probably...
This is pretty conspicuous here.
Yeah, but that was because Summoning Sickness, so it's not like he intentionally left it up. He had no choice.
It's risky business. It's risky business.
I mean, I guess...
Shadowstorm wins us the game on the spot.
Don't, because I guess you only need 1 more land and then you can pay for it because it's Shadowstorm and it costs you 3, so 3, and then you can pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
So you could just go...
Ascension, bait out a second Spell Pierce. Play land, and then next turn, if we have another land, we can pay for it regardless.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Look at us misplaying. Of course, if he doesn't Spell Pierce, then we look silly.
If he doesn't Spell Pierce, then it's fine.
So now you thought it's go.
Yeah. Because if we mill Manamorphose, then this will give us a counter.
We milled an island.
Oh man, if he didn't Spell Pierce, we can still Ritual Shadowstorm. We play
Oh,
that,
yeah.
go up to 3, cast Shatterstorm for 3. What do you think? He didn't have the Spell Pierce,
Yeah,
obviously.
Let's do it. If he's got Spell Pierce now, then he's really on the ball.
That.
But even now, he count this, so it's still good because we just baited it with
White.
the desperate
What is happening?
Path to Exile in response, which means we can't.
No, because. Wear Tear. So he was holding up Disruption, but it wasn't. So I was going to say, if he did have Path, we can. Oh, we can't Metamorphose because we've got 0 mana in pool.
So if he'd had Path, that would be very embarrassing. But
yeah, because we can't.
He wouldn't have Path in his deck against us anyway.
That would be pretty strange. Alright, well, our opponent has 0 cards. Unfortunately, we don't wipe out any of his lands, even though these are pseudo artifacts. But goodbye, board state. To be fair, we don't have a lot going on ourselves. But
we have a 2/2 we can attack with.
yeah, and Electromancer Metamorphose is a fine start for any Affinity, for any Storm. We're getting beaten down for 1 a turn. Our opponent's in top deck mode. And he drew a Springleaf Drum.
Yeah, I think you don't even play that Springleaf Drum, right? Like you can just pretend it's a good card. I don't know.
Ooh, this is good. So we go top. Metamorphose, Empty the Warrens.
Sure.
I like this. We can even do it this turn because we have Electromancer out. Alright, that was very good Serum Visions. Ding. And that's what I mean, like, if we had Grape Shot in that spot, it doesn't do anything, you know?
Yeah.
But this is why having Empty the Warrens in these kind of matchups where game 1 you can expect to resolve your spells and have them do important things. But in post-board games where there's a lot of hate cards flying back and forth,
There you go.
Empty the Warrens is much more important for getting, like, Storm is 3, no problem, I'll make 8 goblins. Alright, well, that was pretty successful against a pretty interesting build of Affinity.
Yeah, I don't know, I feel like that guy.
That last game, that was aside from a big punch spell like a Ravager or a Cranial Plating, he had a pretty decent Affinity start.
But that's the thing is, I think that this deck looks to me like a kind of budgety brew version that maybe doesn't have Mox Opals, and we didn't see any Opals, we didn't see any Ravagers, which I assume are the money cards in that deck, right?
Mox Opal would strike me as the most expensive. He does have...
Is Ravager expensive? This probably isn't relevant to what we're...
well, at the very
his
least...
deck was bad, is my point.
the very least, Cranial Plating is not expensive, so you should have had that. Anyway, thanks for this round, we'll see you next one.